So what if you could see a massive technological shift, like a tidal wave, coming years before anyone else even knew it was on the horizon? Well, today we're diving into the story of an entrepreneur who did exactly that. And in the process, she created a kind of roadmap for all of us trying to figure out this new age of AI. And this quote, this really is the heart of the story we're exploring. I mean, think about it. It's one thing to react to change, to scramble when some new tech drops, but it's something else entirely to see it coming so clearly that you're just waiting for it. That's not just adopting a new tool, that's almost like prophesying the future. And trust me, the stakes here could not have been higher. We are talking about someone who literally built a multi-million-dollar business from the ground up and then just walked away from it all. Why? Because of something she saw coming. So yeah, this isn't just another story about AI. This is a story about incredible foresight and ultimately about survival. All right, so to really get where this incredible foresight comes from, we have to rewind a bit and look at her backstory. Her entire career is built on what she calls radical adaptability. And that's a skill that was forged in a really tough situation, leaving a fundamentalist cult when she was just 21. That kind of experience, well, it teaches you to question everything and to pivot fast without looking back. And this right here, this is where that first empire began. Not with a ton of venture capital, not with a big fat loan from a bank, but with $75. That's it. That one $75 investment back in 2011, that was the tiny seed for everything that was about to happen. So from that $75, she built her company Express Writers into an absolute powerhouse. And the scale is what's just staggering. I mean, at its peak, we're talking about a 100-person agency handling over 60,000 different content campaigns. They were pulling in $5 million in revenue. And get this, almost all of it came from organic marketing. She had basically built the perfect human-powered content machine. But then, right at the absolute peak of her success, she did something that her peers thought was completely irrational. She sold the machine. She sold the whole thing. But as we're about to see, this wasn't a retreat. No, this was a stunning act of foresight. And this timeline, wow, this just perfectly illustrates how far ahead she really was. So look, she sells her 100-person completely human-powered agency in mid-2021, okay? Then she spends the next full year just doing a deep dive into AI research. And it's not until late 2022 that ChatGPT even comes out. She wasn't just a little ahead of the wave. She was a full 18 months ahead of it. That's incredible. So after seeing this shift coming, she didn't just, sit back and wait. Not at all. She dove headfirst into AI, joining a company called Content at Scale to basically figure out the new rules of the game. She wasn't running from the past. She was actively building the future. And this is a really important piece of her framework. She doesn't see AI as a job eliminator, she sees it as a job evolver. So the old role of content writer, that becomes AIO editor, which stands for Artificial Intelligence Optimization Editor. You're not being measured by how many words you can type in an hour anymore. Nope. You're measured by the quality of the AI output you can direct. You're not just the writer now. You're the strategist. You're the prompter. You're the architect of the whole thing. But her most out there, most radical theories about AI, well, they were about to be put to the ultimate test. And this wasn't by choice. It was because of a sudden, personal crisis that honestly threatened to bring everything crashing down. So in early 2025, a severe health crisis just completely takes her out of the game. She's bedridden, can't work. For anyone with a personal brand, especially one built on video, being unable to show up and create content, well, that can be a death sentence for your business. So what was her solution? She decided to test her most extreme idea yet. She built a digital twin of herself. The process was pretty wild. She started with a custom video avatar using HeyGen, then cloned her voice with 11 labs. And then came the training. She spent 25 hours feeding the AI high-quality studio footage of herself so it could learn all her patterns. And the result? While she was recovering, she could create and deploy videos from her phone using a perfect digital version of herself. Okay, so what happened? The results were absolutely insane. Her AI clone didn't just fill in for her while she was sick. It completely blew her human performance out of the water. The view rate was nearly 4 times higher. The average time people spent watching was a crazy 8 minutes. And the click-through rate, 7.8%. This clone wasn't just a substitute. It was a massive upgrade. And the bottom line? Just look at this number. 30,000. That's how many new subscribers her channel got in a single month after the clone took over. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The experiment was an undeniable runaway success. So, this whole personal crisis and her really radical solution, that led directly to her core framework, a way of thinking about how to navigate the super urgent, super competitive world that pretty much every business is facing today. She calls it the AI cliff, and that word cliff is so important. This isn't a gentle slope you can just kind of walk up. No, it's a sudden vertical drop. The idea is that companies that truly integrate AI will see their productivity just jump exponentially. And the ones that don't, they're going to be left at the bottom of that cliff, totally unable to compete. And it could happen practically overnight. So how do you actually make that leap? Well, her framework breaks it all down into 3 layers. First, you've got the foundation layer. This is simple stuff, using AI to just replicate your routine tasks. Next up is the strategic layer. Here, you start using AI for things like predictive analytics and personalization. But the final goal, the top of the mountain, is the revolution layer. We're talking full autonomous adaptation, and that's where you see those insane 25x productivity leaps. You know, when you look at Julia McCoy's whole story, from a $75 investment all the way to building a digital clone of herself, it really is a kind of blueprint. It shows us that surviving in this new era, it's not about working harder. It's about adapting faster and thinking way, way differently. So the question she leaves us with is really the only one that matters right now. The AI cliff is here. The question is, are you prepared to leap?